Hey, and welcome to Showbiz Connect, everybody. This is where you make connections. It's so good to see everybody. And this is our Zoomcast number 9. I'm really excited to be here with all of you. And as you probably read, our team today is voice, clarity, diction, accents, and you name it. We have so much coming up. I have to say that we were just a few minutes late. I have to say that my producer was at the hospital yesterday and she had some scans this morning. And this is why and she showed up. And that is show business, right? Show business is show business. And she did show up. So I want to do a big shout out to Sierra, who's here right now. And after that, I'm going to drive her home. So there you go. I am. Showbiz Connect, for the people who don't know that, it's been created to help you make connections and learn. It's a community for whether you're a beginner in the middle of your career or you're starting over. This webinar gives you information and contacts in the industry. It's happening every 2 Wednesdays with the same link. You can watch the last episodes on my YouTube channel when you type casting vlog or Showbiz Connect. We're going to put the link also in the chat so you can have a peek at the last 8 shows, right? And this one will be posted probably by this Friday. So we usually have a French show at 5 p.m., but not tonight because it will be back November 26th after the return of my LA trip. So you will receive emails about it anyway. So if some of you are registered for both shows, English and French, because a lot of people are bilingual, then you will be getting all the different dates coming up, which is November 26th when we are back. If you want to receive casting breakdowns for voice auditions, for roles, modeling, extra work, make sure you are in the Total Casting database. And you do that by registering through totalcasting.ca. And then you use the link of our website in the chat. And then you can go and register so you can receive the newsletter and all the information. Like right now, we're doing all kinds of auditions. We're looking for people with Scandinavian accents like the Vikings and all kinds of different things. So let's jump into our special guest of the show today, Julia Lenardon. Here we go. We have it on my screen. We can see her pretty face. Yes, Fred is applauding already. Absolutely. Julia is a seasoned actor and voice, speech, accent coach for over 35 years of experience across theater, film, television. She has performed in major Canadian theaters, including the Stratford Festival, and coached productions from regional stages to Broadway, Matilda the Musical, and off-Broadway. Her on-screen coaching credits span from Ginny and Georgia, The Umbrella Academy, Law and Order, X-Men, and Assassin's Creed. She's a dedicated educator. She has taught at the National Theatre School of Canada and the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. And she's an amazing lady. So let's bring her. You can unmute Julia. It's such
Hello, everybody. How lovely to be here, Ella. Thank you so much for your gracious invitation.
we cannot hear you right now.
You can't hear me? You can't
I
hear
can
me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Who cannot hear me? Can anyone not hear me?
Oh, you're okay.
It's my volume. Go ahead.
Ah, okay. Can you hear me now, Hélène?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
good. Okay. Merci, Hélène, for your lovely invitation.
It's so nice. It's so
I'm
nice.
sorry, I mean to interrupt, Ellen. Did you place put record? Did you press record?
Yes, it's recording,
Okay, okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Okay.
but thank you because it's really important. We have Julia with us, right? You have a great reputation, Julia, and talents are so open to know more about you. But how did you get to become a coach? In other words, how did you start in the industry that brought you all the way there of what you're doing right now?
Sure. Well, I mean, I had already been an actor for over 20 years, working professionally. And I had been, as an actor, as you know, as you are providing for your clientele, you have to keep training as an actor. If you've gone to drama school or theater school or conservatory, that's one kind of training. But even if you finished at the conservatory or you've never been to a conservatory, you have to train for your entire career. You have to keep training. Like an athlete. An athlete doesn't stop training just because they're in a race. That's when the training starts. So I had been doing a lot of ongoing movement and voice training as a professional. And I did a lot of voice work. And I had a particular teacher, David Smuckler, who was very well known in Canada, but particularly in Toronto. And he had a great influence on me. And he was also teaching voice qualification at York University. And although, so after about, 10 years of studying with him, right, as a professional actor, I thought, oh, that would be interesting to cross over into training what I have been training as an actor to do for many years. So he was really my opportunity to deep dive into the teaching part of it. So I got my master's at York University through my master teacher, David Smuckler.
Wow, 10 years coaching with the same person, and you wanted to give back. It's like,
I think so, absolutely.
mm,
Often teachers in the arts end up teaching what was something that they needed to train more in. And that's not all teachers are like that, but certainly quite a few teachers in the arts are like that. So yes, to give back, knowing what the challenges are, voice-wise as a performer, I had been through many of them. So learning how to teach that and help those that had similar challenges was interesting. It still is interesting.
I guess so. It's always so interesting. And actually, you also work with international actors, improving their English clarity. I mean, what is your best tip for non-native speakers auditioning in English?
Ah, well, yes, that's another part of the work. It's not just the voice production, but it's the speech work and the accent work. And then English clarification is another branch of that, which, yes, I've done quite a bit of in Montreal. And certainly now that I'm in Toronto, I still do a lot of it. I think the biggest tip is actually to start training clarification of English before you have an audition. Never try and learn something new on an audition. That's a bit silly. It's sort of like trying to learn to play the guitar before a concert, or
Well said.
going to the gym the day before you have an audition where you have to be really in shape. It
Exactly.
we don't even think of that in any other situation, and yet so many people come to me saying, I have an hour. You teach me to sound like an American, and I have to very politely say that's not possible for you or anyone else. Um, so the tip is, if you wish to learn anything, whether it's English clarification, an accent, acting, your lines, you need to start training well in advance so that you have that skill already when you have an audition. And therefore, you can gently integrate those skills in your audition and also do the acting homework.
Absolutely. And now I'm so self-conscious because I have such a slight accent. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm in front of you now. And I'm like, I can hear my accent even while I talk. So,
Well, that's interesting you would say that, Hélène, because I don't, I'm sorry you feel that way. Um, I don't think it's necessary. As an accent coach, Hélène, I work with a lot of people who need to adopt accents. I've worked with actors who need to adopt a French Canadian or a French from France accent for their character. I work in film and TV to work with actors who put on an American accent or a Southern accent or a Polish accent. There is nothing wrong with an accent. So
oh
be
no,
very
that's not what
clear.
I'm saying. But yeah.
I think, though, to clarify what you perhaps want to point out is there's a difference between an accent and fluidity in a language.
Mm.
Producers don't mind accents. In fact, accents can be quite exotic. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely, particularly a French
absolutely.
accent. But if there is something wrong or something not wrong, if there is something inaccurate about the language, if the
Mhm.
grammar is incorrect, if a high percentage of the intonation is incorrect, if pronunciation is incorrect, that's not accent, Hélène. That's language. That's not accent. That's language. So it's
Mm,
really, I think the biggest tip, Hélène, is really make sure that you take the time, and it takes a long time, to learn the standard English, not the beautiful franglais in Montreal, which is a combination of both languages. It's a beautiful dialect of Montreal and Quebec, and I adore it. And it's used a lot in film and TV shot in Montreal and around Canada too. But be careful, accent is different than language. The language has to be absolutely solid.
yes, I agree with you. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, I have a little technical here.
But remember, and then we're talking in a very small, narrow um, frame of the business. It doesn't mean if you're having coffee with a friend or you're speaking outside of the business. It's only we're talking about the guidelines for an audition and to work on set if required. Yeah, so it's a very narrow circumstance, right? It's not for everything.
Right. But what are the latest ones you did maybe for some actors? Like I know you work for different actors. I work on X-Men or Assassin's Creed. So um, what can you give me some example that happened lately, just to give them an idea?
Well, I'm working on two TV series right now. I'm working on a Netflix series, Ginny and Georgia, and I'm working with the young actors of that. Because of the what we call the NDA or the non-disclosure agreement,
Yes,
I can't speak about these things. Um,
yes.
but I can say that I'm working on Ginny and Georgia. I'm working on another TV series where the shooting name is called The Body. I can say that because it's on the actor form, and I can say that. And I'm working with some actors in that with regard or dialect related, dialect related. Um, yes, I'm working on about two video games at the moment, all dialect work, different regions and different areas. So
And yeah, and I imagine the looking often to get that American accent down. That must be the gist of it, not just like, would that be the
some of it.
bulk of it?
No, not the bulk of it, actually.
Okay.
There's only one project where I'm working on a standard American with an Australian actor. Only one. All the other projects are regional or international sounds.
Wow. Is there one you prefer working with, like a special accent or that you prefer?
That's an interesting question. What do I prefer? Hmm.
Like I
Um,
like the Indian accent is my favorite, but
ah,
that's not used very much.
uh, that's very interesting. Well, I think I'll answer it the opposite way, at first. I think the most challenging accent I've ever worked on is an Australian and New Zealand. Um, they are not similar at all. Out of respect, they are not similar, although they would be similar to an uneducated ear, right? But they're not similar. They're very huge differences. But there's just something about those two accents that for me are quite challenging. And to get those very particular sounds like right on regionally is a huge challenge. I think the not the easiest one, but the one I've perhaps done the most and maybe is the most familiar is the standard American because I do that sort of more often in training. Funnily enough, less so in actor contracts, but more in training.
I love your laugh. That's a whole different thing when you need to do laughter and screaming and this whole other idea for sure.
Yeah, that's heightened voice and combat voice, and yes, a lot of that, of course, is needed in video games. And yeah, I've experienced a lot of actors um, injure their voices by pushing and not knowing how to use their voice with screaming and yelling and grunting. And
Mhm.
yes, so yes, now I have my qualifications as a voice combat coach, and I've run workshops that are at least 8 to 10 hours long on how to train the voice to do all those really heightened, strangulated sounds consistently, accurately, and safely for a long time. Uh,
Wow.
Without training, many actors can make a nice scream, but do it once and that's it. But you're in a studio for 4 hours at a time on a union contract for an actor contract, and you are expected to do that for 4 hours. That's
Yes.
that is your expectation and responsibility as an actor. So you have to know how to do that. Yeah.
You got to be ready. It's like anything else, any role. As for voice, you got to prepare, you got to warm up, you got to have all your tools ready, your honey. I mean,
Well,
not your honey from home, but your honey.
you drinking. Absolutely. I really like what you just said, Hélène. The warm up. Hmm.
Mm.
Warm ups are different than workouts. And I
Uh-huh.
think I'm really glad you've brought that up. Um, okay, let's take an image of going to the gym. Whether we go to the gym or not, we know what that is, right? Okay. If you go to the gym and you enter the gym and you do your stretches, okay, your warm up stretches, and then you leave the gym, have you worked out? No, you've just done the warm up stretch. You have to do the workout, okay? But a lot of people think that if they just do a small warm up with their voice, that they can do the voice work. But a warm up is not a workout. And many workouts, right? The point of a workout is to get your muscles stretched and strengthened to do more heightened work. And a warm up is simply a trigger of a reminder of what those muscles have been trained to do over the months of the workout. But if you just do a warm up without having worked for months as a workout, you're not warming up anything. You're not
Very true.
triggering the muscles to do anything. So be very careful, everybody, when you think you're doing a warm up, if you haven't earned that warm up without having done months of workout and very precise workout to earn the warm up. Does that make sense? Does it make sense?
Totally. I think the comparison is amazing. I'm also going to ask the talents out there if you have any questions, write them in the chat and
Oh, yeah.
we'll see if we can answer them for sure. This is I preach that, so I'm totally with you with that, and it's so important. And if somebody gets up with a bad throat and they have that 4 hours in studio to do the video game, what do you suggest? What is your main tool to get that all warmed up? Like it's just you're feeling like you're gonna get a cold. What do you suggest?
Well, that's a really good question. I think first to diagnose where the vocal trauma is coming from. Are you getting a cold? Were you screaming the day before? Right? Are you overtired? Because each of these three things can affect the voice, but the symptoms and the action to alleviate that those things are different. If you wake up thinking you've got a cold, then you have either a virus or an infection. So how do you deal with that? Well, if it's a virus, you can't. If it's an infection, then you need antibiotics, right?
Yes.
If you wake up and had been to like a hockey game the night before and you've abused your voice, right? Then you need to steam it, you need to rest it, you need to do a very gentle healing workout to get the inflammation down and to get the muscles strong again, right? If you wake up tired, then your whole body is tired, and as a result, your voice is tired. Then you need to rest. So there isn't really one tip. You have to diagnose where the trauma on the voice is coming from and then be able to deal with it that way.
But what would be also, I'm just going back to the warm up, or
Sure.
do you have like favorite drills or exercise to warm up before the workout that you can?
Well, you know what? And I don't have any favorite. There isn't really, it's sort of like, I guess, it's like saying to a gym instructor, give me one workout exercise, right? It really depends on what you're working on with your voice, right? There are different elements of the voice that you're going to work on. Are you working on releasing tension? Are you working on uh, sort of breath depth, breath capacity, breath strength, uh, um, um, sort of resonance in the voice? So, I mean, there are like 4 to 5 elements of the voice that need to be worked. Yes? Sort of
And
like
it's
when you go to
different for each person. I imagine it's all different.
Well, everybody needs to work on all those elements. Like going to the gym, we all need to work on all parts of the body. But there may be one part of the body, aka one part of the voice, that may need a bit more training at a certain point, you know? So do you concentrate on the legs or do you concentrate on the arms? You see what I'm saying? So again, there is one exercise that I can recommend because it really, you're right, Hélène, exactly what you're saying. It depends on the individual and how much voice training they have already, and what they can diagnose as what they need to work on. Now, if it's someone who's never had voice work, no, I can't give one exercise. That person would need to take voice classes to be introduced to the basics of voice and how to be introduced how the voice works and very basic exercises that they can build on, yes, and learn how to work with the voice.
I think we have a question for you.
Oh, good.
We're going to ask Mark to come. And you have a question, Mark?
Hello, Julia. It's nice to see you again.
To you too.
Thank you. So I think what you're saying, and a lot of actors don't do it, it's very, very important to be aware that when we take care of our breath and our voice, then we'll be connected to our emotions and everything. So, like you said, it's very, it goes with the individual, and we need to really be aware that it's our responsibility as actors to do the work on a daily basis, not every once in the blue moon. So,
And your question? You're absolutely right. And what
no,
question?
it was a comment. I mean, because
Oh,
I really, really support what I've known you for years, eh? And I was so happy to see you today. And it's that it's very important to what do you say? Yeah, I have a question. What if you're rehearsing with some actors and they don't do that breathing work and those warm ups and everything before? What would be the best suggestion from you to tell them, you need to work on your voice before we rehearse, because it's not when we're rehearsing that, oh, I should have done my diction exercises, I should have done my warm-ups and my breath, my breathing exercises. What would be the best way to tell them, well, you're supposed to arrive prepared, I mean, we're rehearsing, we're not, how would you approach that?
well, okay, that's a good question because we've all had acting partners in scene study and in the profession that are not doing the work, right? Uh, the problem is it's not my place to tell them how to do the work. That's crossing a propriety line. That's crossing a borderline of protocol. So I would never speak to another actor and tell them how to do the work ever, because that's unprofessional. Although that doesn't mean it's still not a concern for me if it affects my work.
Yeah.
Well, I work the best I can with them. I react to what they're giving me or not giving me, you know? I mean, their lack of work will reflect on them, not on me. So
Okay.
I need to go with the flow, and whatever they give me as an acting partner, I have to go with it and make it better, right? Not be brought down by it, certainly, or be manipulated by it, but to work with it to my advantage. Yes, but I would never ever tell another actor to do voice work. That's not my place.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
That's a good question because I have compassion for being in that situation.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
have a lot of good questions, you see?
Yeah, very good.
And when you, I know that you offer coaching for all the people that need that. There's a question with Tracy. What is your process in working with voice students? I was just going to ask you anyway, so that was my next question. So how do you work? Is it one-on-one? Is it Zoom? If you can explain your coaching basis when people want
Sure.
to reach out to you.
Yes, of course, certainly. And a good question, and I'm glad you've asked it. Um, I am in Toronto at the moment. Therefore, for anyone who is in Toronto, I have offered some live coaching with regards to being in a group. Like I've done quite a few vocal combat workshops live. I would never do that on Zoom. That has to be live. So definitely the voice and violence voice workshop is always live. Um, um, for my lovely clients and students in Montreal, it has to be Zoom because I'm not in Montreal. Um, and I have successfully worked in solos, and what I call the buddy system. In that, if you can get some buddies together, um, and to work on whatever you want to, either English clarification or speech work or even voice work, we can work as a small group together. And what I like about the buddy system that works every time when people are committed to it is that you've collected people that you trust and you're holding each other up. You're holding each other accountable. Yeah. And you show up, and even when and you hold each other up and work together even outside the Zoom sessions, because that's a responsibility as well, as to do the work on your own. And when you're in a group that you trust, you will do the work because they'll remind you to do it. You'll do it together. So I'm a big fan of the buddy system. And of course, the more people, it's up to 4 people, right? And the more people you have in the group, then the less you pay, right? Because you're splitting the one fee.
Mm.
Some people prefer the one-on-one, and I understand that. So that's really the choice, one-on-one for those that prefer it, and a buddy system for those that really need the support.
That's fantastic. We're going to put your flyer in the chat so you guys can take a look. We did the PDF for Julia's class with all that information. And I love the name Buddy System. I think that's great. I even like even better the voice, what did you call it? The voice combat.
Yes, voice combat. Yes, yes. Well, those are, I've actually taught that once in Montreal through ACTRA as part of their professional development program. I'm hoping it will happen again, because that does bring me to Montreal to do a live class. And I always love coming back to Montreal to do things like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's another question, a last question here from Alicia. She said, in the same vein as someone with nodules, I would like to know what you think about practicing accents too much and how to practice them in a way that's healthy for your voice while still making progress. Long question.
Well, that's an interesting question. All right, as someone with nodules, okay, well, just for those of you who don't know what nodes are on the vocal cords, okay, if you've ever, for anyone who's ever played the violin or the guitar, when your fingers are playing on the strings of an instrument, the pads get the pads of the skin pads on your fingers get rough, right? Because that skin has to be tougher to maintain sort of the pressure on the cords. Well, vocal cords, right, are similar in that nodes are like that, um, roughened skin on your fingertips. It's like on your vocal cords, and they're called nodes. Okay, they're caused by all sorts of things. Um, Often, inappropriate vocal um, support, right? They're being stretched or banged together too hard so that the top layer of skin gets hard to protect it, right? And that's why you lose some of the notes when you go up in scale. You go, uh, and you're losing some of those notes. Because they're roughened skin, like the skin on your finger pads of your fingertips, with rest and proper doctor, initiative, and advice, those nodes can heal, right? If they're very serious, some singers have had operations to get them removed. But in many cases, with proper care and appropriate care, that skin can grow back softer and the vocal cords can come back. Okay, so that's the first thing that one has to do the research on with nodes. So Alicia, I'm sure you've done that research, but it's not, nodes are not something that you have to live with. Now, if nodes get more serious and become inflamed and little bags of um of blood, that's something completely different, and that's not nodes, right? Um, and that's really serious. But it doesn't sound, Alicia, as if you've got that, and I'm not a doctor, but I do know that in many cases, the beginning stages of nodes can heal. I'd like to know what you think about practicing accents too much and how to practice them in a way that's healthy for your voice. Well, no, I don't believe that there's a way of practicing accents too much. Um, and practicing and learning accents is not hard on the voice if done properly. Um, what is hard on the voice is if one pushes the voice, and that's hard on the voice. But you don't need to push your voice when you're working on accents. Pushing the voice usually happens when we want to get something too quickly, right? We want to get there now instead of the process. And the pushing doesn't get us there. It just creates friction in the voice, and then we can harm it. Practicing accents too much? Well, one has to practice until appropriately and mindfully until you get it. Now, how long does that take? That's a
Hmm.
good guess. It takes as long as you need to practice mindfully, frequently, and accurately.
And one at a time.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
One accent at a time.
yeah. Now,
I
for
always
instance,
get all mixed up with Australian and New Zealand and Irish and Scottish and
you're,
whatever.
you're absolutely right. And working on an accent is like working on voice production. It has to be done in a healthy way. And that's without pushing and straining. Yeah. Because that neither of those things help with the accent. They hinder the voice work. They hinder the voice work. Um, so again, I mean, we understand deadlines. Like, Hélène, when you send off an audition for somebody, they know that they have to have it done by Friday. Okay, there's a
That's
deadline,
right.
right? There's a deadline. So let's say you send it out to them on a Monday and it's due on a Friday. Well, how many auditions do they give you a week to prepare? That's fantasy, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
you you've got a deadline, right? So, as actors, you guys know how to how to plan your time between Monday
Mhm.
and Friday to
Yeah.
do what you need to do as much as you need to do it and how well you need to repeat it until you get there for Friday, right?
Excellent.
Now, for accent work or English clarification, it's going to take more than a week, but we still need deadlines where you go, okay, I've been working at this for 2 weeks. What have I learned? What have I integrated? What do I still need to learn? Okay, what am I 2 weeks from now? I'm going to check in. Two
Mhm.
weeks from now, I'm going to check in. So it's kind of like rolling deadlines or check-ins that you give yourself on how you're progressing.
Well, thank you so much. And I heard, well, I know that you have a gift for one of the winners today,
Ah,
right?
yes.
What is it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If your name is drawn, I'd be more than happy to meet you and give you like a 15-minute consultation on what kind of work would benefit you, to ask you what you would like to do, and then to discuss with you if that how that's possible, and what would be appropriate for your work, what you're auditioning for, that kind of thing. Kind of
Wonderful.
like
I
a
think we're gonna,
diagnostic session.
for beginners, for people who wants to get a voice demo, we do have a voice class happening. We have two last class. We have one last class November 26th, November 29th, November 29th, I'm sorry. And that is in English. And we have one in French December 13th. These are the two last one. We only take 5 people for people who wants to do their voice demos and try maybe a little bit of dubbing and get do some narrations and so on, so on. So we're just gonna put the voice flyer in the chat. You can take a look at that. That'd be great. We also have a special class with my technician producer that I know for the last 20 years. I wonder if we can put it on screen, Sierra. This is a premiere. Jesse Connell is putting a workshop how to build a booth at home, to have your home studio, what to do, what not to do, the materials you're going to need. He's actually, I think he's with us, but I'm just going to put that on screen. Is it possible? Yes? Great. Let's see. And maybe actually if Jesse's there, he can also explain a little bit of what he will be teaching just for 30 seconds. So is he there?
I think he stepped away, Hélène.
Stepped away. So there you go. You can see right there, it's a 4-hour intensive. There's 2 groups. It's like 4 hours, 2 hours 1 week, and then 2 hours the week before. He shows you how to do your editing and all that to really try to get your auditions ready. And it's only for 5 people because it's a very small group. This is going to be online. It's on Zoom. So editing workflow, recording in Pro Tools, polishing your audio, get your gear together so you can have a plan for a functional voiceover booth. So this is a new one. I think the price is on top, Sierra. I just got it today, so I thought it was appropriate since we're talking about voice today. So yeah, it's 220, and then you have your workshop. So we're just going to drop it also in the chat, so if people are interested, you can give us a call or send us an email, and then we'll do that. We'll give it to you. Before we go into the breakout rooms, there is something else I want to talk to you about. It's a class. It's called the Showbiz Formula 1. And it's a class that I've put together in the last couple of months. I have some people in it right now that are attendees. It's a 90-day course with videos, and we have live coaching every 2 weeks where you practice your monologues, your scenes. Sometimes you can do 2x2, so it's a live coaching, and then we see you grow and get better and better. I created that because a lot of people don't know how to start, but this is like every single details. I've been in the business over 40 years, and I said, I'm going to put something together because people sometimes they don't know how to do, what to do. What do I put on my resume? How do I do this? How do I get an agent? What do I write to it? I mean, there's just so many details that I put that all together. So this formula class is 20 online modules that are free videos you can watch anytime, anywhere. There's also the audio files. You can even listen in your car if you want. There's 2 private one-on-one coaching sessions for your career strategy that I'm giving. And 6 live coaching sessions. We give you a list of all the agents, casting directors all over Canada, all the different schools, modeling agencies, all the templates that you're going to need, also the workbooks. I give you meditation, anything to help your mind, for your mindset, and of course, free registration in our talent database. So yes, this class is worth over $5,000, over $9,000, sorry, and I offered at $1,997, $1,907, so it's 4 payments of $500. And there's some bonuses as well. I have my face in front of it, but here there's some bonuses at the bottom of the sheet there that you can do. But because we have Black Friday coming up, so I came out with a real special where it's the Foo Friday. Foo means the Black Crazy Friday. So you can use the code FUFU for 25%. So you save $500. This is good until November 28th for Black Friday, midnight. So if you know some people that would need something like that, we are offering you, we're going to put the link in the chat as well, so you can use that. And we also offer a gift certificate if some people want to give it to somebody who really needs it, who really want to elevate themselves and be able to book, in the next 3 months, book some sessions, some auditions, and so on. So this is what I'm offering. All right.
And Hélène, so what was going to be in the French side on that night, on the 26th?
I cannot say yet.
But are you doing a French one today?
No, there's no French one today.
Okay.
Next week?
It's on 26th. Yeah.
26, okay.
Because we did one last week. And
Well, not next week, 2 weeks from now.
And yeah,
yes, everything is 2 weeks from now. I'm leaving for LA to meet some great people and maybe some great surprises as well. So I'm really excited. So we're going to see you
Bring
back
back-
on the 26th.
bring back Jason Momoa, will you?
Ciao.
Thanks, Hélène.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.